Ah. You know, when it comes to political philosophers, not many have their name used in everyday speech, but one does. Let me see. Machiavellian, cleverly deceitful and unscrupulous. It's quite dark and sinister, isn't it? But I'm going to meet one strategist and, as he describes it, recovering spin doctor who thinks Niccolo Machiavelli is about much more than just an adjective.
John, good to see you. Okay, let's go and get a table.
John, what I really love is that you've brought your well-thumbed university copy of The Prince with you by Machiavelli. Why do you like this guy?
It's the best book written about politics because it's written by a practitioner. Machiavelli was at the top of politics for 15 years. He writes about the problems you face, the challenges you face, and what you have to do about them. I've advised ministers and prime ministers across the world. We had exactly the same issues to face up to. It's a handbook for us. He's an insider. He's the insider's insider. It's still relevant today, and it's the only book I would give to young people entering politics today.
That's remarkable for a book that is 500 years old, but given that, I want to give you and everyone else a sense of Machiavelli's time and place, and I've got just the idea of where to take you. So, John, to give you a bit of an atmosphere, we brought you to London's oldest Catholic church for Italians. And it's Italy we're talking about, not a country at the time, but a landmass ruled by warring city-states. And within this context, Machiavelli writes The Prince. Why and what is he saying?
Well, he's been at the centre of power for 15 years in Florence. The Medici take over. He gets accused, he gets tortured, he gets pardoned, he gets exiled to his family farm. And he wants to get back to the centre of power. So he writes a job application called The Prince. This book describes what Florence needs, what Italy needs. A strong leader. Somebody who understands you should be feared, not loved. Why? Well, because love passes, fear never passes. And a leader who understands ruthlessness. Either act and act decisively or do nothing, never get caught in the middle.
And it's not surprising when he's telling it like it is that people don't like it. The Catholic Church banned his book.
I don't think anybody likes it, because for insiders, he's spilt the beans, he's told the truth. For outsiders, they go, is that really how power operates? No wonder he got banned.
Dr. Liz Fraser of Oxford University also points out Machiavelli gets a bad press as much from what others write about him as people misreading him or not reading him enough.
From the outset, Machiavelli was understood through the stereotypes of malicious, vicious, sneaky Italian poisoners, and there were many attacks on Machiavelli. They were what people had read. They hadn't read the works themselves. In other works, notably his discourses on Livy, what we find is a theorist of republican institutions and republican values, in which people have their voice, in which institutions constrain the rule, and these popular republican institutions are what give the state its greatness.
John, I think Machiavelli would be proud of us because we are obviously and clearly at the heart of power in the UK. But you say he's relevant. How does he work behind that door?
Margaret Thatcher and Tony Blair, the two most important post-war prime ministers, both had senior advisors who updated Machiavelli. They wrote books updating him for the modern age. Lord McAlpine and Jonathan Powell both agree with me. You can apply Machiavelli to modern politics.
Yes, but he talks about using violence. Now, how does that work?
Machiavelli is really clear. Leaders will need to use violence, but they shouldn't do it themselves. They should have somebody who does it for them. So, from my time when I was Tony Blair's enforcer, he once said to me, people have been complaining that you're roughing up the backbenchers too much. You just have to break one of their legs, not both of their legs.
Speaking of violence, and I know this might sound weird, do you want to go and play a video game?
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
Go kill them, Mentore. Finish what you started.
See, that, John, is what I wanted you to see. Machiavelli in a video game ordering assassinations against the Borgias. This man is part of our modern culture.
Yeah, but it's not just in video games. The rapper Tupac read Machiavelli in prison and then came out and took Machiavelli as a stage name. set up a clothing brand called Machiavelli, and now rappers, many other rappers, including Lil Wayne, talk about Machiavelli in their songs. This guy has jumped cultures. And the thing is, he fascinates us because he's full of contradictions. He's somebody who wants to wage war to create peace, a man who wants a strong leader to defend the democracy. And he's a guy who essentially says, use violence and low means of politics to achieve the good society. We're going to be talking about him for centuries.
Now, do you want to have a go at this?
Yes, sure.
Because you know what the good thing is? This time you can break both their legs. Go on, over to the left.
Oh!